Before you watch Multiverse of Madness, we're going over all the crazy things that we think is going to happen in this movie. What's up, everybody? Rob and Chris here from the Jersey Comic Crew. We hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, like we just said, we're talking about Multiverse of Madness. We're going to go over all of our crazy theories and events that we think are going to happen in this movie. So this is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to know anything about the movie before watching it, don't watch this video. But hopefully you do, and hopefully you come back and see if we were right. Now, Chris, the first thing we have to talk about, the elephant in the room, or the beautiful lady with the crazy red magic, is Wanda, right? Why is she in this movie? Why do you think she's helping Doctor Strange?
I think she's in full Mama Bear mode.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think it's all about saving her kids. And I think she's going to kind of use Strange in a weird way, right? It seems like in the trailer, he's coming to her for help, and she's almost like, oh, this is a great opportunity, right? Like, we know at the end of WandaVision, we heard her kids as she has able to astral plane herself to study the Darkhold book. I think she is going to be kind of this villain character, but not a villain, Rob, if that makes sense. She has her own agenda. She's going to be willing to do anything, take anyone down in order to find her kids. And we also know from Agatha Harkness that she's stronger than the Sorcerer Supreme at her full power as the Scarlet Witch. So that's going to be really interesting how that plays into this movie. But yeah, I think she's in full Mama Bear mode. She wants her babies back, and she's going to take down anyone trying to stop her.
I agree with you 100% that she's using Doctor Strange. And I'm glad he threw in that Agatha Harkness line, because she's stronger at this moment than Doctor Strange. And she obviously could tell when the multiverse is breaking. And Wanda, working with Doctor Strange, just knowing who he is going to be like, all right, he's going to try to come for me for help, because he can't let this go by, and I don't want this to go by either. But if I make it think that it's his plan to help me, or his plan to use me to help him to save the world, I could do this while getting my kids. This brings me to the next question with Wanda. Now we know her motives are maybe not as altruistic as they once were. Is she friend or foe? Do we think by the end of this, she's going to turn evil Mama Bear? She's going to be a monster because she can't get her kids. Her kid died or something crazy happened.
I don't know if we're going to see Wanda be full villain and full on disliking her. I think, one, she's so big in the MCU right now, right?
Yeah.
Even Kevin Feige has gone on record saying, like, yeah, she's the strongest Avenger right now. She is basically unstoppable if she wants to be. I think we're going to see this Wanda who is just selfish. It's more so a selfish Wanda compared to like a villain or hero or friend. The other side is, too, Wanda's been through hell. She's lost Vision. She's lost her kids. The WandaVision stuff will definitely have some type of effect on this movie and her character moving forward, right? It seems like we're meeting up with her right after the events of WandaVision at that kind of hideaway where she was in her little cabin area. So it's going to directly tie in. We know Sam Raimi watched WandaVision a couple times before directing this to kind of get into that character. So I'm really interested to see what she does and how hard she goes into trying to save her kids. I think that's the main focus. Yeah, I'll help Strange until it gets me to this point, and then I don't care who's in my way. Get out of my way. I'm getting my kids back.
I really think this is the beginning of her villain arc, and I think it's going to become very along the lines of what you were saying. I think it's going to be, I'm trying to get my kids, I'm doing this, I'm being very selfish to put my family before me, and I think Marvel could take that and easily twist that to become more villain-centric, right? Especially with the pain that she had with Vision and all this, and I think all the dominoes are going to align that, like, she's going to be heartbroken and, like, destroyed, and that could cascade throughout the rest of the MCU. But one thing I wanted to touch upon with all this hype that's around this movie, all these teasers that are out, Chris, and all these trailers, they have so much information, which might not be a bad thing, right? Because Marvel has definitely learned the art of misdirection since Avengers Endgame, right? We're putting Hulk in one thing and not. But we've seen people like Captain Carter, Monica Rambeau, multiple variants of Strange and Wanda in this thing. My concern is this Marvel showing their hand, saying, this is everything. We need you to come watch this movie because it's going to be wild and weird, but a lot of cool stuff is going to happen in it. Or is it that they have more surprises and they're just giving us this and we have no idea what's in store for this movie?
That would be my hope. My hope is the latter. My concern is the former, right? I think when you have a movie this massive, there's a huge possibility. It's like, here, take your little bites and morsels here. You have no idea what the actuality of this film is going to be the entirety. Yeah, you know Xavier's in it. Cool. Yeah, you see the Captain Carter shield. You know she's going to be in it. Cool. But you have no idea the other surprises, right?
True.
Like, I think and hope that is the case with Marvel. And I think by now they know at this point what to tease, what not to tease, what to hold back, what not to hold back. But even so, with some of those little points, a part of me wants that to be a surprise, right? Like, a part of me wants to be like, I don't want to see the shield. I don't want to know that Xavier's in his X-Men 92 hovercraft wheelchair, which for me blew my mind. I don't want to know that ahead of time. I want to have that experience in the theater. I want to feel like I did when I watched Endgame or Infinity War and had those cheer moments with the crowd. I wonder if it's a little too heavy-handed, if it's this big push to get everyone back in the theater. You know what I mean?
I'm very confident that it's like you said. I'm very confident they have so many surprises in this movie that we're not even aware of. We know America Chavez is in this, Wong's in this, Christine Palmer. They have so many characters that somehow they're gonna make time for in this movie. But like, that just leaves the door open to maybe other allies, and even bigger than the other allies, Chris, the Illuminati. One, it got confirmation that it's the Illuminati, which is fantastic. But that means we're going to see a whole plethora of characters that we haven't seen before. This could really be something where they blow our socks off. Like, this could be like maybe Chadwick Boseman recorded a scene of him on the Illuminati Council before he passed away, and they were just waiting to use that because he couldn't make it for scheduling, and they looked that far ahead. It could be maybe Fantastic Four, Reed Richards. Like, there's so many different people that could be on this that's gonna make us go crazy. I mean, they could show Charlie Cox's Daredevil again in another Marvel movie on that thing, and we're gonna lose our mind.
And he just catches things again.
He's just like, oh, I caught the pen. But
I got it.
Who do you think is on that council? Who do you think is like the wow factor we're going to see on the council? Because there's definitely going to be a wow factor there.
There definitely is. And I think there's a couple people that could be. I have a kind of tier list that is like Professor Xavier, we know is on there. We saw it in the trailer. Captain Carter, I think, is an obvious one too.
We see
her in the teaser trailer with the shield. We don't see her fully, but we see the shield. I think Baron Mordo variant is totally a possibility. The long-haired Baron Mordo could be a Mordo from a different universe. That's maybe the Sorcerer Supreme or maybe the good guy. Those are some of kind of the obvious ones. Getting into other possibilities that make sense to me, Superior Iron Man. I think a variant of Tony Stark that's either older, maybe cockier. Maybe we get Tom Cruise in that role as a cameo appearance. He was originally supposed to be cast as Tony Stark all those years ago, which is like 14, 15 years ago now. We know those Ultron sentries are there, Rob. Who makes those, right? Possibly Superior Iron Man. Another one, which I think would be a little stretch, but really cool. What about a Hank Pym or a different Ultron or a fusion of the both, right? What about the Pymtron that we see in the comics, in Marvel Comics? A younger Hank Pym, a random different actor playing a young version of Hank Pym, kind of what we're used to, or an Ultron, a better Ultron, a good Ultron.
You saying Ultron and Hank Pym just made me thought of this right now. What if it's a Vision variant? Because we've seen in the trailer with Wanda, and that's another reason, fuel for the fire, that we're thinking Wanda's going to the villain side, that she's attacking the Citadel where all the Illuminati members are, right? But what if one of them is Vision, right? And what if that's why she's attacking? She lost her mind. She can't comprehend it. She snapped at that point and is attacking because she saw that Vision and she's just losing her mind. That would be pretty cool.
And it's not white Vision. It's like classic,
it's right,
green, purple
classic
Vision.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be really cool too. And another variant I was thinking of is Nathaniel Richards, a Kang variant, right? Because we know Kang has his own council in the comics. There's a whole council of Kangs with hundreds of variants of Kangs. I feel like this is a perfect spot to see Jonathan Majors again prior to his big movie in Ant-Man Wasp: Quantumania. I could see him being in the Illuminati, being a variant, and obviously I think the one everyone wants to see, Rob, is you can't have an Illuminati without Reed Richards, like you said before.
Yeah.
Whether it's John Krasinski, whether it's a variant,
whether it's me,
whether it's Rob.
Can you imagine how mad would you be?
I would slay you with a knife if you were in this movie and didn't say anything.
That'd be so funny. I'm not.
Yeah,
but Marvel, I'm open to it.
It would help. It would help us a lot. But if there's some type of Reed Richards variant, whether it's John Krasinski as Reed Richards and somehow he gets sucked in our universe, or a different Reed Richards, I think there has to be some type of Reed Richards on this council.
You mentioned Mordo variant, like that's a Sorcerer Supreme. That brings me to this idea that we're gonna have all these villains or whatever this entity is that Doctor Strange and Wanda are gonna have to fight, whether it's various versions of them. Do you think Doctor Strange is gonna have to team up with other Sorcerer Supremes? And I'm not just talking about other variants of himself, but maybe like from the Dark Dimension. And in the comics, there's all these different Sorcerer Supremes from different dimensions, the fifth dimension, a dark dimension, a fourth dimension, you name it, they're there. One of them happens to be his wife in the comics. Clea, I think is her name. So you think we're going to see one of those characters in this movie, or is it just going to stick to strictly variants so that way people, you know, have a firm understanding of that before we move on to even crazier things?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think we're definitely going to get a bunch of variants. Like, I think this is the movie where variant is not a bad word in comics, right? I think it's going to be kind of key to the story. Yes, he's going to go through, you know, finding Defender Strange, and we know Zombie Strange is there, and we know there's the evil Dark Strange that those characters may or may not be from What If. This situation is going to be so big with the multiverse breaking down and these barriers that one Sorcerer Supreme can't handle it. And now, whether the Mordo we see is the Sorcerer Supreme in his universe, technically Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme in our universe, right?
True.
So all these powerful magic characters, probably why he needs the help of Wanda as well. Maybe Agatha Harkness by the end of this, who knows? But they're going to need kind of all hands on deck for this situation. You don't bring the Illuminati in, especially live action, without a massive scenario like this where the walls are breaking down, reality's kind of crumbling. But I think, Rob, a big one that we could see is a live action Watcher.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I would love to see that. And it'd be great for another crossover from the What If animated show to live action movies. Now, the crux of this episode and the crux of this movie, you know, this movie's supposedly bigger than life. It's going to be grandstaking. Things are going to change permanently. What do you think the reason is? Is it what I'm thinking, you're thinking, and most other people are thinking? Do you think that Wanda is going to become this bigger than life Nexus level being and finally bring in the mutants into the MCU, whether creating them or bringing them from another dimension? Do you think it's going to be that or maybe something else?
I think it's already happened.
What, mutants?
Yeah.
Oh, well, explain.
I think Wanda has already had her House of M moment, and she is accidentally the cause of this entire film.
Ooh.
Every time we've seen Wanda, her life, her mind, her body has been in chaos and dealing with the past, right? We find out that she kind of had powers as a kid. We find out, you know, when she was tested on, she already had like these latent abilities with mutantism. I think the reason the Illuminati are there, this whole movie could be planned out by Wanda. That she's been studying the Darkhold this whole time. She split her mind and personality. She is fracturing the multiverse on purpose to get to her kids. I said in the beginning of this episode, it is full mama bear, right? She don't give a shit about who she's hurting right now. When you said full mama
bear in the beginning, I did not think you'd mean all of this. Like, this is more villain, like evil, like I'm doing what I gotta do. Oh, I guess, you know.
I don't know if it's gonna be full-on villain, but I think it's gonna be full-on manipulation, and I'm now 2 steps ahead. I'm using the pain and hurt not to react. I'm using it to be proactive. And I think she has planned this since the end of WandaVision, since she's been hiding out in her little, like, you know, cabin in the woods. She, you know, obviously she has a TV or whatever, her phone, knows what happened with the multiverse at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. She's using that to get to her kids, and that is the crux. And I think Xavier's going to figure it out with his telepathy. And I think that's going to be the crux of why she's attacking the Citadel, why Monica Rambeau comes after her, whether she's on the council or not as well, and why she has to fight Captain Carter, which we see the shield being thrown at her. So I think the problem, they're going to think it's Strange because Strange is always at the center of these issues, right?
Correct.
You know, everyone's blaming Strange. Even Benedict Cumberbatch is like, it's not my fault. It's a Spider-Man movie. I like, leave me alone.
I had to do it. Sony needed me.
It's part of my contract.
Yeah.
I think it's actually Wanda manipulating absolutely everything in the background, and this is all going to be revealed maybe even like the first quarter or half of the movie, and that's why Strange is using people like America Chavez to portal through dimensions so she can't track his power or something like that. I think there's going to be a lot of like twists and turns with her.
Now, do we think with the case of the mutants, like if this is going to be her big House of M moment or whatever the case may be, right? If it's bringing the mutants in, is it multiple universes or realities are forming into one new one, and that's what it's going to be? And those characters, whether they were existed past, they don't have to be the same actors, obviously.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like Cyclops, Wolverine, and Xavier has been around for years, and now in this new universe, it's all connected, all one thing. Or is it like she's awakened the X gene in people and stuff like that? I could easily also see this being the cause for the Fantastic Four. They're up in space, their stuff is happening, they're in a rocket ship, and just so happens that like an explosion happens of a magical fight between the two of them, causes the radiation to cause that. So, or I could also see it like, all right, that universe is combined with ours, and now these characters that were established in their own universe are here.
I could see all those being possibilities, especially with Wanda's chaos magic affecting the universe, right?
Yeah.
Everything we've seen multiversal right now is like this purple substance, this energy. Wanda's got this red chaos magic. The multiverse split, it had purple. Arthur Harrow's staff creates this purple dimension. All these things are going to have some type of effect. We've seen the effects of the Infinity Stones. We've seen the effects of the time manipulation stuff, right? People either looking differently, different power sets coming on. I think we'll get a lot of that in this movie, and it'll carry into Kamala Khan's story in Miss Marvel as she's an Inhuman. So I think all these are going to be affected, whether that activates the mutant gene, because if you guys, read the comics, mutant gene's activated through puberty and kind of adolescence and growing up. I wonder if that's going to be the case, or you could explain it away with kind of the faux science stuff, right, Rob? With like, hey, all this stuff has been happening to the universe. We've never seen it before. The multiverse is ripping apart and it's being put back together like a puzzle. Is this the cause? It's affecting people's DNA. It's affecting people's, health, or whatever the case.
I'm leaning towards that one as like the accelerant for the human race. Like eventually we would have got the mutant gene or the Inhuman gene or whatever naturally, but because of these events, it accelerated it. Because they've already done that same kind of mindset with the Eternals, right? The Eternals are like, oh, because of these events, you've awakened, like the human race is ready to be eaten, right? It's like, oh, another event has forced our evolution to go faster than it's supposed to be. I can see that being the cause here. I think that'd be really exciting and really cool. But guys, we want to hear your thoughts and theories down in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen in the Multiverse of Madness? It's only a couple of days away. Please give us your theories.
And guys, thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, turn on those notifications. You do not want to miss our full review and our after credit scenes and all our explanations of Multiverse of Madness when it comes out in just a few days. You want to check it right back here on the channel. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Jersey Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time.